Every time you try to lose weight, you've ended up feeling really, really hungry at points, and you've ended up either binging or just reverting back to old habits. Some of the reasons for this potentially are you're not eating enough in general. So if you're not eating enough calories in a day, your brain's going to send signals that you're hungry, and it's not going to get you to stop just at the right time. It's going to get you to overconsume. You've maybe set your calories too low, so you've maybe went onto a calorie calculator to see how many calories you need, and it's maybe guesstimated based on your activity levels that you need a certain amount, and that might be too low for what you actually need. And if your calories aren't high enough based on what you're actually doing in a day, then obviously you're going to end up dead hungry, and you're going to end up eating potentially the wrong types of foods, which are higher in calorie, lower in volume, or you're going to end up over consuming maybe at a weekend because you've been dead good over the course of Monday to Friday, and you end up really, really hungry because you've ran your calories too low, meaning you are starving when it comes to the weekend. You've maybe set your calories too low and started exercising at the same time. So if we put these here, so that's the amount that you consume and that's the amount that you burn. You've taken the amount that you're meant to be consuming down to obviously create that deficit to get you to lose weight. But we've also increased the activity as well, which has made a big gap instead of just a kind of medium-sized gap. So it means that if you're doing both of them quite aggressively at the same time, you're heading for one, potentially burning out and just crashing out because you get no energy. You might feel lightheaded at times. You might feel really, really just shitty with a sore head. And two, you might end up overeating because you're absolutely ravenous at times. Or your diet could be too restrictive. So somebody tries to eat good or well or clean. These are all obviously words that just mean they are restricting their diet. They're not eating X amount of things, processed stuff, sugary stuff, but it means that in doing that and taking away stuff that was normally quite prevalent or just there in their diet and trying to eat clean, whole, unprocessed foods, that the volume of the food required to eat the amount of calories that they were eating before is a much bigger plate of food, which means that sometimes somebody feels like they've not been eating as much on a diet as they have done in their life, because it's really, really hard to make up a diet worth of low calorie foods. So what happens is they end up not eating enough because they're eating all these low calorie foods and they're stuffed. But what actually happens is that they're eating a big volume of food, but they're not actually eating enough calories to maintain or to fuel their performance over the course of a day or their workouts or whatever they're doing. So it could be somebody, for example, eating, say for example, they just eat salads, and I know that's a rubbish example, but I'm just going to make that one for argument's sake. So they constantly eat salads and soups and low-calorie stuff, but what's happening is that they're constantly eating and they're not eating enough calories, which means that they are going to get to a point where their brain is going to make them eat more calories, and it's not just going to stop you at a convenient amount. It's going to make you overeat because you are absolutely starving, or you will make those calories up in liquid calories via either juices, alcohols, whatever.